So, hi Joshua, thanks for this conversation. I would like to ask you about couples getting married, specifically if one is living in Israel and the other wants to come and live here too. So there's this process that they have to go to, an interview process, and how important is it that these couples will answer these questions correctly?
So it's very important to answer the questions in the interview the same.
And if people, for example, miss out on a few questions, let's say where they live or where they met, like how important is it and how seriously should these couples prepare for these questions?
So at the end of the day, the decision whether to grant or to deny application has to do with the immigration clerks. But we've seen couples that even with relatively small inconsistencies, small differences in their answers, their applications have been denied.
Really? Could you give us an example of that?
So typically couples will be separated and ask similar questions or sometimes a series of the same questions. And it can be any questions having to do with how they met, family members, birthdays, life events, how they spend the day together, regularities of what does the person drink, is it coffee or tea. Obviously, if there are mistakes regarding the place where they live, the apartment, the car, then it can give the suspicion to the immigration clerk that this couple isn't really living together and they're not an authentic and genuine relationship.
I see. So, for example, if someone says, we met on a dating app, and the other one mentions their first dates in person, they don't contradict one another, but would that be something that the Ministry of Interior would see as an inconsistency?
Right, so that has to do at the end of the day with how the clerks interpret these answers. But sometimes we have seen answers that are not really a contradiction, but the immigration authorities decide they're a contradiction. There are many examples. For example, they ask, where did you first meet? One person says Tel Aviv, the other says Jaffa. Actually, Tel Aviv and Jaffa are considered in Israel one city. So this could be deemed by the immigration clerks a contradiction. The same goes to your question about the dating apps. The one person remembers that they met first via a certain app, and the other one remembers that later on they continued communication through WhatsApp or where they first met. So at the end of the day, it really has to do with sometimes how difficult the immigration authorities actually want to make the process for this couple.
Okay. And this leaves me with one question, because I can imagine some people are preparing for these questions, but some already had these interviews and they made a mistake. They actually did make one of these mistakes that we mentioned earlier. What would be your tip to them to fix this?
So obviously the first tip is to get to know each other very well. There's actually lists of 80 or 90 questions that typically will repeat itself. At the end of the day, if a couple is really genuine and living together, they should know most of the answers, if not all of them. But sometimes there are some questions that are a little bit tricky. We as an immigration law firm can prepare also couples for this interview, go over typical questions. But if your application was really rejected, then the next step is to take immigration lawyer for an appeal process, which is inevitable at this situation.
I see. And if they want to reach out to you, how can they find you?
They're welcome to contact us via our website or connect to us through any of our social media platforms.
Okay, thank you very much.